Welcome to Construction Week India podcast. Today our guest is Mr. Harsh Jagwani, MD of Notandas Realty. Harsh combines his global management education from Regent's Business School, London, with a deep understanding of luxury. He aims to position the company among India's top 5 luxury destinations by 2030. Thank you, Harsh, for joining us today. And maybe, we could start with what you think about, the current market trends. What are the key trends that you see in real estate business today? Maybe you can also talk a little bit about how the Diwali has been, how the festive season has been.
I think compared to earlier, real estate is moving very, very rapidly in India. We're seeing changes every day. Customer choices have definitely changed drastically over the last 5 years, especially after COVID. A lot of things which were not essential in buildings earlier, people wanted next to in the residential buildings, in their commercial buildings. So the entire kind of amenity list and the entire SOP has changed for us as well. So that is one major change that's happened, and I think most developers now are accepting it and putting it into their projects. Diwali as a season, I believe so, was great for us. Since we are doing luxury, I don't think you point out Diwali per se, but of course there's always a lull in sales during the summer months and during, of course, Shraddhs, because most of our clients are generally traveling and then a lot of commitments. I think Diwali in general is a lot more ease of mind and a lot more festive as such, so it triggers the kind of buying decision. But I think most people who bought in Diwali have been scouting for properties much before that.
Okay, so maybe the sale happens during Diwali, but they were already in
Of course.
checking out. So generally, how has been the festive season? Maybe starting from Onam, Ganeshotsav, Navratri, Diwali, and now we still have the year end and New Year. So how has been the season this year vis-a-vis the last year?
I think sales have been very, very robust for us at least. I believe I've been reading a few reports, and even for the entire industry, I think sales have done pretty well. Of course, clients have, and India being a market, clients have superstition. They want to give their check on a Dhanteras, or they want to give a check on Ganpati. But maybe the decision for the purchase has been made a month or 15 days early, and they just want to transact on that day.
Transaction happens.
Yeah. So overall, I think fundamentally we are very, very strong in India. I don't see any kind of slowdown in sales for the near future.
Okay. If you look at, retrospectively to 2025, now we are in November. So how do you see 2025 has been? What were the key achievements that Notandas specifically had, and the trends that you witnessed? You can elaborate a little bit on this.
So financial year 25-26, we started off. We had about 3 projects actively running. We've gone ahead and launched 4 projects till now. We are somewhere in November currently. So we've launched 4 projects till now, and we have another 3 lined up for the year end until March. So I think in that sense, we've got a good pipeline, good plan for the year, and let's see how it goes. Sales have been supportive, so we're happy in that sense.
Northern Edge in Juhu, your project, has been described as a distinctive commercial landmark. Okay, what exactly went into the design aspects of it, the concepts behind it? Can you elaborate a little bit on?
So Northern Edge was a very, very interesting project for us. It is actually, the land parcel shape was a very odd shaped land. It was in the shape of a trapezoid, and because of a height restriction in the area, we had very little to play along with in terms of doing a building, consuming the floor space index on it, and getting a good ready to sale building. So we shaped the building in the shape of the land parcel. So the building shape, if you look at it, is a trapezoid shape. Of course, it has all the amenities, top of the line, what we generally do in all our buildings, but it was a very interesting project to plan because there were so many constraints on the land parcel. We actually had to apply our mind to get the most out of it.
Even design and shape wise also, it certainly stands out. Today you also spoke about luxury. There has been a shift towards luxury realty. But today if you look at it, nearly every builder is talking of luxury. So given that competition which has increased over the past few years around luxury real estate, what are the key things that you feel are essential to luxury? No, this is luxury, this is really not luxury, although they may be claiming so. So what according to you are the standout features of luxury realty today, and what is your strategy on that front?
I think all developers today are harping on about luxury, and every project I see in terms of marketing is luxury. I believe luxury is just not defined by a price point. Of course, you can have a luxury project at every different price point. You can have a luxury project at a 2.5 crore ticket size, at a 5 crore, at a 200 crore ticket price as well. The thing I believe is that when a client is out there at a particular budget to buy something, if they're getting a lot more value addition compared to the next door project or compared to the next door competitor's project, along with that, they don't mind paying a premium because they understand. So if I'm building somewhere where the basic norm is to put tiles into a building, and when you come towards Bandra Khar, Santa Cruz, they put marble. But in that kind of a market, if I'm putting in marble and I'm maybe selling at even 12,000 rupees a square foot, where it's at about 9 to 10,000 rupees per square foot, the pricing of general sales, that would be considered somewhat a luxury project for that location, because you're going above and beyond what the market or what the market norm is. So I believe there's luxury at every price point. I'm not a fan of false kind of marketing strategies where people are marketing it as luxury, but once people move in, it's not above their expectations, it's far below. So I believe luxury is when you're buying something, you don't mind spending that 10, 15, 20% premium on the product, but you get a 100% upgrade on what you expect the product to be.
It should be better value than expectations. So, can you give examples of what are the projects that you are targeting as your own projects where, luxury is the key feature?
So our entire portfolio is luxury projects because starting from the locations, all of them are very, very strategically located in the best neighborhoods of Mumbai. So that is definitely one advantage that checks the box. Along with that, we've always tied up with great international and Indian minds to design the buildings, and we put in a lot of effort. We've always tried to do innovative things in the buildings, so what people haven't done in the past, something very, very new. So as developers, it's never been we tell the clients that this is what our global trends and this is what we're incorporating in our building. Then clients coming and telling us, because all our clients are very well traveled, they've seen the world enough, so they don't need to come and tell us we've seen this and you should incorporate this in the building. We as developers, it's our job to explore, brainstorm and show them what's new in the world.
Can you give me some examples, maybe, some of the features maybe you can highlight?
So we did a building in Santa Cruz. We handed it over sometime in January this year. I think in that local market, it was the first building to have a pickleball court. It's the new trend now. No one would think of putting it in at that point of time. Now when I see it, there are like 8 launches in that same micro market and everybody's putting in a court. Small things like that. There was a banquet hall. The landscape architects were from Singapore, so then they were doing the design for the landscaping. So small things like that. And once it becomes a market trend, then we look at different things that we can incorporate because this is already done. And now everyone's doing it. So how do we upgrade the living experience even more?
In fact, one of the things that I read about Notandas is personalized, designs. So what are your views on that, and where does this come from? And in real terms, what are the things that customers are looking for?
Since we only do very, very high-end kind of developments, most of the clients want to add a lot of their character into the apartments. Most of the apartments that we sell are bare shell, so clients want to come in and do their own kind of fit outs on them. But of course, it's a challenge, right? Because if you don't have knowledge on construction, their timelines get delayed, things like that. So we do try to handhold them throughout the entire process of doing the interiors. We have an in-house team that design a few renders for them, what they like, what they don't like, and we guide them through the entire process. So the building amenities are great, and the lobbies and the common spaces are great, but the houses definitely do match that kind of look, feel, or that kind of mindset. And most clients, when they're doing their house for the first time or second time, they're either very, very frustrated or they don't know what exactly do they want. So we try to guide them through that process.
Guidance is important on that. One of the key things today being talked about is redevelopment. In Mumbai, as real estate becomes very scarce. So what are your thoughts on redevelopment? What are the challenges that developers today have? What are the opportunity areas within redevelopment? And what are your thoughts? Will you also be walking that path?
So we are doing a few redevelopments now currently. I think with redevelopments, it's very, very interesting because in Bombay, there's no other way to grow forward or work. I believe even the larger guys in the industry have stepped into it because there's a general scarcity of land. If you want good locations, you want premium marquee projects, it has to go in the way of redevelopments because those buildings are already built there and then FSI has increased. So there is room to build. That being said, there's so much noise out there for redevelopment currently, and societies want various valuations. Developers are aggressive. So on the acquisition front, it's a lot more harder to deliver quality because the minute you're going and offering a society more area and it becomes kind of a bidding war, you as a developer have to cut corners somewhere, right? So when you're doing that, maybe it's in the construction costs because BMC costs are anyway very, very fixed in that manner. Somewhere the product suffers. You might get larger areas because as society members, but the quality, I've seen very, very few redevelopments where we can look at it and say it's turned out great. There are few like that, but very, very few in that sense. But of course, it's a whole kind of a financial model.
So what is the way out maybe for developers? How do you resolve such challenges?
I think most societies have always sat down and mandated that we need maximum area in terms of commercial when you're negotiating. We want maximum area, we want maximum corpus, we want maximum rental. Whatever we can achieve. And that's human psychology because you're negotiating, you want to get the most. But you need to somewhere cut the line and be like, at this point of time, what is the kind of building will I get? What kind of brand I'm going with? After seeing their work, if you've seen a developer's 4 buildings and you're not impressed with it, and they give you a fabulous presentation for your building, that does not mean that they've done 4 subpar buildings and your building is going to be their marquee, right? So you need to look at the kind of work the developers have done earlier. So society need to understand this, that of course it needs to be a win-win for both. So if you want that kind of quality, that kind of development, you might have to give a few basis points lesser area, you may need to get that, or your rental might be 10, 20, 30 rupees lesser a month because that money the developer isn't taking home. If they're actually passionate, they're going to put it back into the project, into the product they're building.
Redevelopment, another area thing being talked about is the transit around transit areas. There is development happening. So what are your thoughts about, there is a lot of infrastructure projects currently going on. So what are your thoughts about the growth aspects of the real estate industry?
I think of course there will be a price, I don't think correction, but I definitely think there will be a price re-rating, like how we say it. So we look at Warsaw as a market. Warsaw earlier was a dead end. It's still a dead end even today when we see. But now if you go into Warsaw, you can see the columns of the coastal road. They're coming up. Maybe in the next couple of years it should start. Maybe if I as a developer start a building there, by the time my building is done, that road would be done. So that connects you from Warsaw to South Mumbai. So of course that market, which was always at a 42,000 rupees a square foot kind of pricing, would jump up to 50, 55, 60 maybe, because it's a lot more connected now. That being said, some markets which had a very, very premium because of the connectivity might come down 5 or 7% because people still want to live in the neighborhood, but because they have other options if they want to move out as well, right? With the same kind of distance to their work or the same kind of distance to their near immediate family. So that of course will happen. Overall, I don't see pricing come down, but definitely preferences of people moving into different neighborhoods in Bombay will change, and that is a trend I see will catch on over time.
Related to this infrastructure-led growth that developers today are looking at within Mumbai, today the government is also talking of third Mumbai and fourth Mumbai. What are the opportunities first that you see that developers have in maybe building the city around that Naina project or Badwan project? What are the opportunity areas that developers have, and what are your thoughts? Are you also looking at these opportunity areas? How will you be leveraging these?
We are evaluating opportunities, but I believe if you have a great project or a great investment, you want to go into those markets, it's fabulous. We generally as developers or our company, we don't like to speculate on pricing of real estate. So we don't look at we'll buy land now and we'll build after 5 years because everything is getting built, so the pricing will go up. The business model should make sense today. So we won't go aggressively to buy land or purchase land that this pricing is always going to go up, etc. If that happens, great, it is a bonus.
Okay.
But not with that kind of a model. So opportunity is ample, even in Mumbai 3.0, Mumbai 4.0, and I believe pan India, because when you're betting on real estate, you are betting on the India growth story, right? When you trickle it down, your public markets are doing well, your general exports are doing well, currency is doing well, government stability is there. So since real estate is one of the larger drivers of industry, you can't expect and I hear sometimes negative comments in terms of, oh, prices have to correct and things have to change, but that does not make any sense on the wholesome kind of an ecosystem that every industry is doing well, everyone's sales are increasing, everyone's listing their companies, and real estate as a market pricing is coming down. If the overall economy is in depression or is not doing well, I agree. We're a part of the ecosystem and we're one of the larger parts of the ecosystem. But other than that, I don't think so that you can isolate real estate that these prices would correct or these kind of prices are slowed down or opportunities slower, but rest of India is growing parallelly.
That won't happen. So you just spoke about it's not just Mumbai 3 or Mumbai 4.0. It's India growth story. So what are the opportunity areas geographically that you see over maybe next midterm, 3 to 4 years?
I think we have opportunity all over India. It just depends if you're an investor or someone who likes to dabble in property, what is your risk appetite? So generally over the years, maximum return for investors has always been land, but land comes with its own sets of risks in terms of there are more government norms. If you go to tier 2, tier 3 cities, ownership is a question mark, claims come up, policy might change, you have to study it to kind of know what's happening. With developers, I believe at the trajectory we are, if you invest with any good developer in whichever micro market, if the developer is good, you are confident on the product they delivered earlier. Of course, from the day you're booking and under construction to the time the unit is ready, you will definitely make money. Now, just a function of return of how much do you make. So it's a gap between safety as well as return.
So when you say about the new emerging markets, okay, from developers' perspective, is it still metro-centric, or do you also see new pockets of growth emerging, maybe in UP or maybe in other parts of the country, where you see even tier 2 and tier 3 locations are showing promise of growth?
Of course, we are seeing growth in multiple locations. You look at what happened to Ayodhya, and it just burst overnight, right? In terms of pricing and in terms of the kind of people who went and bought plots and bungalows there. So I believe it's a pan-India story, and real estate also normally brings in price increments in kind of a burst. You won't see a 5% stable increase, but you see a 30% return after 5 years or a 50% return after 7 years. That's how the industry just functions. Now, nobody can time that. I think that people should be prepared when they're investing in real estate for that.
So from developers' perspective, as a developer, what are the 3 locations that you are currently betting on in India beyond the metros?
In India beyond the metros, I would look at anything that is about 20 to 25 kilometers away from the metro cities.
Okay.
I would identify them in that sense in terms of a radius, because like how you're saying Mumbai 3.0 and 4.0 happen, that kind of a mindset with this new government is for every metro. Most metros are getting populated, so they want to develop around it. I cannot put a timeline on it that it will happen now or in 3 years or 5 years, but that's kind of where you can bet and you know your money is safe because the metro eventually will grow out.
Okay, one of the rather 2 topics again are the buzzwords. I just wanted your views on that. One is branded reality. That's last 1 year people are talking about that. And the second thing, last 3-4 years, in fact, it has been a story, sustainability. So sustainable real estate is the new story. What are your views on that? How real are these, or these are just buzzwords? Will they, really make proper business models? Both these.
Branded reality is something that we are doing as well. So it's slated to launch towards the end of this year. Branded realty, I believe clients don't mind paying a premium. The thing is that developers do a multiple kind of basket of projects, right? This kind of helps in positioning. I don't expect to get higher pricing for it, but if we're doing so much on day one, we do good buildings. But now if we're doing a 3-bedroom kind of apartment building, and now we're doing a large luxury 5,000 square foot building, it's just more of positioning, because they of course trust our brand, but it ties up if we tie up with another brand who they already consume, who have a strict SOP, because we go multiple. We'll make one building Victorian, we'll make one contemporary, we'll make one maybe ultra niche contemporary, or one industrial. Once a brand ties up, they know exactly on day one what they're buying, because they're clients of that brand, and that brand already has kind of a SOP or kind of a design language. So it gives more validity in that sense. Branded residence is all for it. not for a pricing increment point, but the client knows on day one what they're getting because they're already loyal customers of not one, two brands that are doing it together.
Which projects are you currently working on, branded, if you can?
They're towards the end of it.
Okay.
And
Alright.
sustainable development, if I talk about sustainable development, is the way to go forward. I think India is still lacking a lot more behind in terms of sustainable materials to be more cost efficient. So I believe to make it, we all are building sustainable currently, but we are also working in Mumbai, which is a major metro. Our pricing is higher, it's premium product, so we can afford to go ahead and do that. I believe to make it more mainstream and as a general business mindset, it has to be cost efficient as well, or the developers need to be incentivized to go for more sustainable developments. I believe government is working on a few policies currently. I don't think anything is out there yet, but I think then it will become a lot more mainstream and catch up all across the country.
Now that this topic has come in, just want to understand generally what are the expectations that developers in Mumbai have from the government in terms of support, in terms of policies.
I think the policy has really cleaned up over the last 4 or 5 years. RERA has come in, it's really helped clients build confidence again into the real estate sector. When we talk about the developer side, when we go for approvals, things like that, I believe there is still some level of red tape in terms of the kind of NOCs and the kind of approvals we need to get in just to start construction on a project. But it's of course a lot better than earlier. So I think that's an ongoing journey and it should get better over time.
Can you give some comparison, maybe earlier, prior to Maharera becoming the norm today as it is, and now? What timelines were there typically involved to get all the NOCs in place, and now what is the
I think
approximate?
I think timelines pretty much remain the same.
Okay.
Major difference is now everything is online, so nothing can get stuck for no manner. If
Oh.
anything is there, everybody's answerable. So if I put up a permission, if it's with an officer, he has to move it in the next 6 to 7 days, up or down, either rejected or accepted. You can't sit on it indefinitely in terms of, okay, we'll take a call later or whatever. So you either take a call, good to go or not good to go. So we can, if it's not good to go, we fix whatever we need to and again reapply. So I think that's kind of really helped. Everything has gone online, everything
More
is digital.
transparent.
Yes.
From the customer side, what are the things that that you see are customer side trends? What are the expectations of customers today? You can talk segment wise, maybe multiple segments that you are into. Maybe every type of customer will have different expectations. How are they changing?
So I think on the residential front, amenities is a big thing now. Amenities is one, and also along with amenities, the kind of materials and the kind of planning used in apartments. So post-COVID, most people want a swimming pool, like I said earlier, pickleball court, gym, things like that in their building so they can access it. Along with that, in terms of fit finish, most clients now are very well traveled. They stay in beautiful hotels, they see great finishes, even finishes which are not available in India. So maybe you have to import them or get someone in India to manufacture them. So that definitely, it's not just 4 walls, 1 kitchen, 1 bedroom, and you are living there. You want to go above and beyond. If it's your first house or a second home, you want to put the effort and make it your home.
So you just also refer to a community kind of a thing is also emerging.
Of course.
where you are,
So even building gentry for clients has become very important. So the kind of neighbors in the building. Earlier, when we were in an era where there were all greenfield developments, let's say about 20 years ago, you would make a building with, let's say, 30 apartments of 1,000 square feet. At that point of time, everybody was pretty much from a similar income bracket. They've all come and bought in over the span of 2 or 3 years. They've bought in 1,000 square foot apartments, similar ticket size, similar budget. Now the question comes up with redevelopment, and a lot of clients ask us this: how are the members who were previously in the building? Because they might have bought a 1,000 square foot unit in this building 20 years ago. Today we are rebuilding the building, and then they have some free area, the older members. And if we are planning a 5,000 square foot apartment in that building, a 50 crore ticket size and a 10 crore ticket size in the same building, there might be some thought process mismatches in terms of how they want to maintain the building, just general things like that. So that's become kind of a concern. Of course, we try to mitigate it how much ever we can, but these are questions that generally come to the developers, so clients are aware of it.
How do you see 2026 and beyond? What are the key things that Notandas will be focusing on going forward?
We have 3 more launches lined up before the year end. March financial year. We have another 4 projects launched in the next
Can
year.
you talk a little bit about
So,
the locations?
yes.
And,
So we are currently working in Bandra, Khar, Santa Cruz, Juhu. We have more launches lined up in these locations. Next year, we are in fact expanding to South Mumbai as well as Varsava. So we'll add those 2 micro markets into our portfolio, and we are very aggressive on both these markets. So
okay, beyond Mumbai, you also spoke about it's an India growth story. Are you
Yes.
also looking beyond Mumbai at the moment?
we get opportunities. I don't think we've stumbled across anything that's right for us till now. We're definitely open to the thought. If we find a good local partner in one of the markets where we can come in and do a value addition, we have no problem. But as of now, nothing on the cards, but we do explore and dabble. We're not aggressively going out to find new markets.
Okay. What kind of growth are you anticipating 2026 will show? You mentioned that global economy, India seems to be insulated. India still shows growth. So what kind of growth rates do you see in real estate business 2026? Any estimate?
I won't speak on the industry level. We expect to double our development value by next year. That is our internal target,
Sure.
and that's what we are working on. So we should double our current projects and our sales kind of top line next year.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming here.
Thank you.